Well, first, I want to apologize to our fans that were here at the start of that game ready to get going, because I think our fans were much more prepared than our basketball team. The way we played in the first half is unacceptable. But I could see it coming. I've got a master's in counseling, a major in psychology, and I'm doing a little bit more of that, worrying about that stuff now than I am coaching. We're a fragile group. I think we showed that in the first half. And in the second half, when you're down 25 or up 20, it's easy to play then. So I don't give much credence to the second half. I appreciate our guys competing and playing the right way in the second half, but we're not very good right now, and we played a tremendous team. I'm very, very impressed with them, the way they've improved individually and as a team over the last few years. They're really guarding this year, and maybe that hurt them from being an NCAA tournament team, not defending with the purpose that they're doing right now. Dan's put them together well, and Paris Lee and Mikhail McIntosh those are two guys that can play, and their leadership and their toughness is really showing. So we got to get better. We got to get better. I thought we practiced well the last couple days and doing this and that, but you can't have one or two or three guys doing the right stuff. It takes everybody to be a complete basketball team and have a chance against arguably the best, if not one of the best, if not the best team in the league. And it's disappointing, so and it lies on my shoulders to change it, and we're going to change it.
Questions?
Is that the extent of what you saw coming? I mean, in terms of...
I just saw a fragile group. You know, they were quiet. You look in their eyes, and I'm worried because I know what's in the other locker room. I know how good they are, and I watched a lot of their games in our preparation for it, and try to take some pressure off them. You know, you don't have any pressure on you. You know, you're 0-3, they're 3-0. You should always. My thing is, as a college basketball player, you should never have someone say, "Oh, he doesn't have any confidence." I don't understand how that happens. You're a scholarship basketball player. You're here for a reason. You should at least compete and have confidence because you're here for a reason. And I think your chemistry is huge also on that, Todd. You know, I didn't see them maybe as together as we need to be. The stuff that doesn't go right, they kind of get in their own separate stuff. So those are the things you see coming. And again, that's the head coach has got to help change that. And we're gonna job interview every day for these guys, and they're gonna have to show it in practice to have an opportunity to play.
Yeah, in terms of roles, I mean, what do you see, maybe not changing, but in terms of guys maybe not being as comfortable maybe in starting roles and things like that? Do you anticipate that being up for grabs as you go forward?
Yeah, I do, and I want guys that care, and I know we have a lot of guys that care, but I think we also have a few that are more worried about themselves than Indiana State playing. And you might try to make changes, but you don't want to be unfair either. And other people have to earn the right to be a starter, earn the right to get minutes, and that's been one of our weaknesses. We thought we were going to be a deeper team coming into the year, and the guys that are competing against the starters or competing against the upperclassmen in practice every day aren't doing what they need to do. So with the extent of maybe JV. So you have to earn minutes, and you have to earn the right to get those things, and they're not doing it enough. I let the seniors talk after the game to the team, and that's what they talked about. It's everybody stepping up and everybody fighting harder and competing harder, because you're certainly going to get it going against a team like that. So it's a lot of stuff, but all it boils down to is a lot of excuses. You're either ready to play and to compete, or you're not.
When Illinois State is able to line up McIntosh against either Matt or Niels, and then they put Fain and/or Hawkins or both on the baseline, I mean, that just seemed extremely difficult to stop.
It is, and we've kind of seen it in the last with Johnson and O'Brien. We've kind of seen that a little bit. They'll post those guys, and we were trying to come from the 5, so it leaves a good athlete over there on the weak side glass. That's when a guard's got to go. I think you and I talked about that yesterday. That guard's got to go down there, and he's got to win that fight against a 6'6" and above athlete that's probably a little stronger than him. So, but we have to do something at that spot. Matt and Niels, they're getting manhandled, and we got to do something about it. Now, we've played very, very good. The 3 names I just said are very good basketball players, but we have to find a way. You have to find a way, and our defense in the half court hasn't been terrible. Although we've letting guys get away, it's in transition and the second shots where we've been hurt. So you got to try to find a way to win. And and we haven't found it, obviously.
Seemed they had a lot of open three-point looks in that first half, though. Was that kind of the big breakdown?
Yeah, in transition, we let Hawkins, and Matt's on him. I mean, Matt knows, and he lets Hawkins, who's shooting it at an elite level, get an open three to start it. You see that first one go in, and then we act like we didn't know who he is. That's one thing when you're doubling in the post, you got to have a full rotation, and we've been working on it for 2 weeks. And if one guy doesn't do it and standing there and not rotating, and you let a guy like that or a Paris Lee stand right there, and if McIntosh can make threes, I don't know how you guard him. I mean, he's too freaking good, and he made all 5 of his today. So that's they got 2 conference MVP candidates right there with Paris. So they're tough to guard today.
You've not been 0-4 in the league. This team hasn't had to deal with this. You haven't had to deal with it as a coach. How do you approach moving forward, and some of the things you have to consider in terms of, you talked about the players having to, kind of a job interview, but what do you have to consider in terms of, maybe changing some of your own philosophies and things like that to get things on track?
I think about it every day, Todd. I mean, I'm a harsh critic on myself, and I'm the head coach. I coach them. I'm the leader of the product that was put out there in that first 20 minutes. So I've tried to be more positive, and that hasn't seemed to help. I've always tried to trust leadership within your team, because I think a good basketball team, the coach isn't coaching them. It's the leaders on the floor that are coaching them. So we all have to do better. I'm the boss, and I have to get them ready, and it's on me. And believe me, I'm gonna keep working. That's all I ever know. You try harder, do more, and that's what I'm gonna do. And I hope every guy in the locker room does the same thing. And we'll be okay. I can't do anything about being 0-4 in the league. We can't go back and win those games. We got to try to get better and win Wednesday.